I want to play in Europe. What the hell does that mean, right? Because Europe could be Latvia, Luxembourg.
No one's talking about Latvia or Luxembourg, dumbass.
So you don't want to just shove it in there. Start with the smaller finger, especially if this is the first time. Start with the smaller finger and go slow.
I mean, there's a lot of things that need to change.
Honey, eating it is the best thing that you can do for your man.
I want people to realize I'm just human. I'm just human, and I make mistakes.
So this guy, Derek, wants to know, is putting your tongue in an ass really the thing to do?
Yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah, just, it's a weird one, I think.
And I know you want me to toss your salad too, don't you? All right, on that note.
What are you saying, bro? You are.
Stop, bro! Stop, bro, help me and stop!
All right, welcome to Straight Red Card. I almost forgot the name of our show for just a second there. I hope that's not a negative boding for things to come, but we'll see. I don't know. Hey, did you catch the Inter PSG game? That catastrophe?
Nope.
So I watched that with my parents. I mean, it was just crazy. It was a mass destruction of Inter. And
what
I thought,
what day was that?
I think it was Saturday.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
I had two games I coached on Saturday, and then I had to take my son to a birthday party at 8 o'clock. I woke up. I had no time to do shit all day that day.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. And then last night I watched Vancouver get absolutely trounced.
Oh, I was gonna bring that up. Don't ruin that.
Yeah, that was sad.
Okay. Since you bring it up Vancouver, let's just go and quickly talk about that because again, I don't want to have to readdress this or anything.
Right.
So hold on to your fluff.
Okay.
So the Don says, "What a run by the Whitecaps! One match for making history in the CONCACAF Champions Cup Finals. Their incredible journey reflects the rise of Canadian soccer and the continued growth of MLS and the global stage. Good luck tonight." How'd that work out for them?
Not very good.
Bump, 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 bump.
Wow. Now, to be fair to Vancouver, they beat all the other Mexican teams they played against. They did not have two of their best players because of card accumulation, which is a stupid rule. That should always, Sebastian Berhalter had the card accumulation thing, so he wasn't allowed to play. But in most tournaments, that's white for the last game. Everybody's, it's all white clean. The board is white clean, and you get to start over again. But not in this stupid fucking tournament. And why don't we just call it Champions League? Why do we call it Champions Cup? Why does the cup need to be involved in this? Is it to point out the fact that some of the players wear cups? I don't know why. It's a league.
Marketing, right? It's got to be some kind of marketing thing. You don't want to lump in Champions League because then you're going to get boned by the algorithm and Google searches and stuff like that.
Maybe, yeah.
It's got to be a marketing thing. It's got to be that.
I just can't wrap my hand. I can't wrap can't wrap my hand around the cup thing. My mind around it. I just don't like it. It sounds somehow off to me because it's a league. Yeah, I mean, it's finished by, a sort of playoff system, but it's a league. Let's call it what it is. Anyhow, I guess I'm getting into the weeds there.
Real quick, while we're still talking about Vancouver.
Yeah.
MLS Soccer also posted this. Or Major League Soccer, I guess I should say. MLS Soccer. What the hell? Vancouver with a commanding lead atop the West.
Commanding
lead.
They're only 2 points ahead of San Diego and Minnesota.
I mean, MLS is doing their best to fluff up Vancouver. This would have been after the loss. So they lost 5-0. So then MLS is like, well, geez, we better do some damage control. Vancouver's killing the West.
I love that Colin's like, nobody wears cups in soccer. Yeah, we know that too. We're just kidding around, obviously. Yeah, I don't understand this. Why don't you just say they've got a lead? It's not commanding.
Or
I'm
just
sorry.
say on top. Just say
sitting on top of the West.
Yeah.
Why throw a word which doesn't belong in the sentence into it? Like, what is commanding to that? You think that the guy who wrote this, like, when he gets up in the morning and he and his wife want to be the first one to the coffee maker so they can get their coffee, and he gets there like a millisecond before she does, he said, man, I had a commanding lead getting to the coffee this morning.
Well, and here's the thing. Major League Soccer posts this. Let's just say Vancouver's next MLS game, they lose. San Diego or Minnesota or both win. All of a sudden, no longer are they atop the West.
Wasn't so commanding after all.
Lead.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, oh, wait. Do they have, oh, that, okay. Sorry. Jackie brings up a great point. They do have 2 games in hand over San Diego and Minnesota. So, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I guess that's
I'll retract.
Still not commanding
argument.
Sorry. They could lose both those games.
Yeah.
So,
I'll retract some of the venom there.
Yeah. It's still not commanding. I'm sorry. Commanding lead's like 9 points. Okay? That's what I give them. 9 points ahead. That's commanding. Maybe you're commanding 6, but mine's 9. All right? But apparently the guys at MLS are like, yeah, 2. 2's
Oh,
good.
wait, hold on. I got to do it. LA Galaxy have a commanding lead for Wooden Spoon.
Yeah. I know. Quite sad. All right. Yeah, don't bring that up.
I got to do it from time to time. I got to do it when I get a chance.
That's fine. I mean,
usually the roles are quite reversed. So
I know. And then we had Habib after the Inter game, not shaking Kate Abdo's hand. I didn't know that he was that. What's that called? We have that when you adhere to a set of beliefs, like to the letter.
A religious zealot?
No. Fundamentalist? I don't know. Anyhow, I mean, she was a little like, oh, yeah, shit, I forgot. Yeah, you don't shake women's hands. And then she apologized. Yeah, a little weird, a little awkward. Also, yeah.
The way you described it, though, very civil, very courteous and everything. So it's not like, gross.
Oh, yeah.
I do not shake hands with a woman.
Yeah, he was like, hey, what are you doing? Kate, what the fuck is that? I'm not touching your woman hand. He was just like, oh, no, sorry. You know, I can't do that. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, yeah, I get it. Sorry on my end for not knowing. Thumbnail. Yes, I made it. You can always tell when I make the thumbnails because they are basic as hell.
It's a picture with yellow text on it. It gets it done.
It got it done. You were busy.
I'll tell you, as much effort as I do put into some of my thumbnails, and some of them are just really quick ones too. You know, thank God for AI nowadays.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a whole, if you go through Twitter, if you go through YouTube, just scroll down through feeds, most of them are just pictures of something with a little bit of lettering on it.
Yeah.
So,
but your pictures have been really good lately, and I did my best. So
I like sending pictures. I sent a picture to Derek beforehand. I'm like, check this out.
Check this out.
Hey. That's dick pic. Sorry. No.
Sorry, sent you the wrong thing. My bad. You won't mind. All right. And then we had the Boulder terror attack yesterday. That was horrible. I guess the guy used like Molotov cocktails or whatever to set people on fire. So, thoughts out to everybody they got caught on fire there. And it's never the answer, by the way, to throw shit that burns at people or to hurt them or beat them up or kill them.
Can we implement eye for eye in this situation? Can we burn them?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
want to jump into this conversation because we're going to get dinged on the monetization yet again. But I'm just saying, you said a couple of examples, man. People stop fucking around.
I mean, that's the theory. But then again, how long in our history did public executions be a thing?
Public Minecrafts, you mean? I
mean, executions have been done in public for, all the way up through the Renaissance era. They didn't even
stop. Say it a third time. Let's really ding that monetization down.
Oh, well, whatever. All right. Also, the Glenn Greenwald thing. Poor old Glenn had somebody leak his sex tapes, and I don't think that's really going to make people who like reading Glenn Greenwald stop reading Glenn. But the crack pipe was a little questionable. Like, I think there was a crack pipe in there. I guess probably getting dinged for that word too. Just saying, that was not so good, that part of it. The other part, I don't care. He can do whatever he wants with a consenting adult. Also, just really kind of crazy. We watched Ukrainians take out 17 Russian bombers in the middle of Russia.
I think they succeeded in like 30% of their aimed targets or something like that. I was reading that, but it's still.
It's hard to say because they're both propagandized so much about what damage they do. It's hard to trust the numbers anymore. But it seems to me war has changed. Like no wars going forward are going to be like the same linear wars we were used to in the past, like army versus army.
And no trenches by any means.
And trenches aren't helping because they'll just fly a drone into your trench. I mean, so I don't know.
A drone with like a flamethrower attached to it.
Yeah, I mean, you can only hope we're learning something from this going forward.
They use that, right? A drone with a flamethrower attachment. Not the military by any means, but there's people who I think this was in Japan or something like that. But they took out a massive hornet's nest using a drone with a flamethrower attachment to it.
Yeah. I think I've seen that one. Yeah, no, it works and it's safer. I mean, you can sting that drone all day and not going to do any damage to it. But, the fact that no one's safe at this point, right?
Oh, that's right. The blade one they use to trim up trees by no, that was the helicopter one I was thinking of. But yeah, they do have one with blades on there too.
Okay, well, despite all the bees and cutting down branches, I am more concerned about the more negative things, which is like being a common infantryman might as well just be suicide because you can't hide. And by the way, tanks are useless for the most part. You know how many videos you've watched the Russian advancing with their T-72s or T-90s and their troop carriers, and they all get taken out one by one, if not by artillery being more accurate than it's ever been before because of what's in the sky, right? Get down to a pinpoint as far as where you lob the shell in. But now you got drones just taking shit. I mean, so linear war as we know it, it's over.
Yeah,
and it's been heading that way.
Linear war, like you're referring to, what they need to do is they need to have like these giant screens over top of them as they walk and progress that have cameras facing down. So from above, from a drone standpoint, it looks like just the land.
Yeah, camouflaged. I mean, you can do that, and they've certainly worked on that.
It'd be a stupid amount of money spent on that shit.
Well, I've read about some tank technology when tanks come to a rest. What they're working on is what they'll do is they'll have a drone take a photo of the surrounding, whether it be grass from the air, right? And then what happens is they have what's called arms that come up on the tank and a giant screen that covers the tank. And then they put the picture they took from the sky from the drone on top of that shield. And you basically, if you're from the air in your drone, you just won't see it.
Yeah.
It'll blend right into
it. So it's basically what I was just joking about.
Yeah, no, it exists. They're working on it. Yep. Enough. Okay.
Alex says 40% of strategic bombers been destroyed.
It's I mean, not that they use them every day, or hopefully they don't. Are thinking of using those because they're long range bombers, and those would usually be used for nuclear stuff. So anyhow,
Ukraine not so long distance away.
Right, exactly. Lastly, I had like 3 ears of corn yesterday. Got a question for you. So, I took a poo today.
You do not digest corn. Yes.
What's the point of eating corn then? It's like useless. Your body doesn't use it. It comes out the same way it went in.
Yeah. You don't break corn down.
Yeah.
Now mind you could then grind corn and make, tortillas and
bread and tortillas,
stuff like that. Yeah.
Cornbread. Yeah.
I mean, you can break it down and digest it that way. But the actual kernel itself, not so much.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I'm sure it used what was ever inside the corn. but
Sure.
the covering,
not the outer shell, right?
right? But the outer shell survives somehow through all those digestive juices in the stomach.
You chew it and get the nutrients inside.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't. That's just weird. I guess it's been a while.
Chew better.
Probably, yeah.
When you're in that corner of the cup, you just got.
Oh, it's so good too right now in Indiana. You just like.
There's some butter, get some salt and pepper on that shit.
Hey, you know what you got to do when you put the butter on? After that, use some Tony Chachere steak, dude. You will thank me. Instead of salt and pepper, use Tony Chachere's. It'll blow your fucking mind, dude.
Timothy says corn would survive modern warfare.
Anthony says I need better dentures.
Better dentures.
I'm thinking about it, dude. Getting some dentures at this point because the back ones are
this shit.
The back ones are so ground down because I have that thing at night where I grind my teeth. And so,
yeah, I was supposed to stop and get a mouth guard today. My dentist.
I have one, but I find it really uncomfortable to wear when I sleep. And so
I've already got a jet pilot's face mask on my face at nighttime. I think a mouth guard is not going to be an issue.
That's true. But you know, if I can feel it happening during the night, then I'll get up and I'll put it in and go back to sleep. But you know, the thing is, you don't know that you're doing it while you're sleeping. It sucks. So yeah,
the worst part of a CPAP machine is when you have nasal congestion and you can't breathe through your fucking nose. That's the worst.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough of our ailments. Let's get to soccer. For the 142 of you already here, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. Hope you had a great weekend. It was a beautiful weekend here in Indiana for sure. So hope you're enjoying that. Okay, go ahead, Brett. Steal the show.
So, you know, we got the news broke a couple weeks back, and I'm sure everybody in the audience, all 138 plus of you, have gone out and purchased your whatever it was called, like the heart on the sleeve jersey or whatever the fuck the jersey
Heartbeat.
was
The heartbeat
jersey. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sure you all went out and bought that, so that way you can, support your team come Gold Cup, and we'll get into that Gold Cup here in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we will.
But apparently, U.S. Soccer has already kind of leaked the World Cup kit, or at least the description of the World Cup kit.
Okay.
So good thing people have spent their hard-earned money on a kit. It was really, we already knew it was only going to be good for a summer.
Really?
Before they start bringing the new ones.
I thought the Heartbeat kit was going to be it.
No.
Huh.
Pretty sure this it's just like the slate gray one that from 2008 2009. It was just it's a kit that they can monetize before the World Cup.
Okay, I don't like that.
Of course, why would you?
So off-white base color, huh? Kind of like Bounty, like a nice clean piece of Bounty that's white, and then
like
you pee on it, and that's what it looks like after you pee on it.
It's kind of a creamy color almost.
A sail.
Not the white, but this one right here. It's been out in the sun, exposed for a year, is what it is.
No, mine's better pee.
Fair enough. It's a unique color of pee. You're not dehydrated, I guess, at that point.
Well, it gets sucked up into the white Bounty, and that's what it looks like.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Sure. You've ever had to clean like dog piss up with Bounty? That's what the Bounty color looks like after you're done wiping up dog piss.
No, I can't use paper towel to do that because my dog piss is a
river,
borderline Lake Michigan.
Well, my dog.
So I've got towels. I've got towels, Derek, too.
Jesus, my dog's small, so if there was a minor, incident,
you could have used one ply. You could have used one ply toilet paper for that shit.
Bounty sucked it up better. Just saying. And then it turned that color. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see.
Untouchable goes. It looks like a tissue after you.
Oh, really? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, kind of.
Like after you do it and everything, you're looking down at it, going, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, that's kind of an off-white sail base color there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, off-white base color. You got navy accents.
So, could we call the next jerseys that we're going to get at the World Cup semen colored?
sail base makes sense.
Seaman colored
Smart,
uniforms.
yeah.
Okay.
Join your U.S. men's national team, seamen. As we take on the world.
Wear your seaman colored kits to the games.
As we stick it to our opponents and impregnate their goals with our balls.
We
right?
We jizz all over our opponents. I like that. Seaman colored uniforms. All right.
That's going to be a thing, guys. We have a good grasp on culture here, and things we always say tends to stick. Much like U.S. men's national team seaman, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But so I'm just waiting for the guy in the chat that says, well, my semen doesn't look like that. Well, what does your semen look like then? What does it look like? All right. Yeah,
mine's got a little blood in it. No.
Sorry, buddy. It's pink. I got pink semen. Well, you got blood in your semen then, buddy.
What? Okay, hold on. I got to find out where we go from here, because we just get done talking about semen kits.
I wonder how much of a hit we take for saying things like semen, even on YouTube.
It's possible. We're 21 minutes into it, so semen better not be affecting us at all.
But what if we were talking about semen, like in the Navy? Remember, Beavis's dad was a seaman.
Oh no, that's a joke with the color being like the sail, the off-white.
Yes. Yes, seaman.
So seaman, that's exactly what it is. It's the seaman. It's the people who man the ship.
Okay, yeah.
They raise and lower the sail.
There you go. Okay.
The sail, right?
I see the connection now. I really do.
Oh man.
All right.
May make the players more salty.
Alex will be here all week.
Hey.
Okay.
See, I called the white ones with blue splats the Smurf semen kits.
I do remember that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was you specifically, Starfish.
Some salt-stained semen.
But the name.
Look at the color. I mean, not the color. Look at the name itself. Sea.
Men.
Yes. Men of the sea, if you will.
Right. And now even the word starfish is kind of being corrupted in my head too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long-time listener of the show, football's final frontier wants to let everybody know what Indiana looks like this time of year.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, that used to be what the Noblesville surrounding area used to look like, but now they're building
houses everywhere, right?
Their houses just forever, everywhere. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's getting crazy driving even through Fishers. There's just all the cornfields just sprouting houses. I don't know what seeds they're planting to sprout these houses, man. But good Lord.
I mean, they all look the same too. But hey, you know what?
Well, it's the same genes, right? Of the seed. I mean, they all come from the same plant.
DNA, baby.
Hell yeah.
All right, chocolate covered starfish.
One of the if you can classify what's one of the worst Limp Bizkit CDs, but that was one of the worst Limp Bizkit CDs.
That's the name of it?
Yeah, hot dog, chocolate covered starfish and hot dog flavored water.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a horrible name for a band.
Not a great CD. I believe that had the song "Keep Rolling, 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 Rolling." Hey,
they
never
really had a great song.
Their earlier, their first CD. Well, I can't think of their first CD. But that's some good shit on it before they got too commercialized.
Oh, you're getting back to the shit part. Okay. Some good shit on it. Just like the chocolate covered starfish. All right, Robin Hugh. Could be pronounced differently, but Robin, let me know if I'm getting the last name wrong. But I mean, what else? I don't know. You could do but
it's Hugh. It's Hugh.
It's Hugh. It's got to be Hugh. All right.
English, of course it's Hugh. Come on. It's not
We don't know what his background is. I can't guess by that last name.
He's one of our English folk.
Oh, that's right. But that's not a typically very English-looking name. But I could be wrong.
I'm saying English. He's of that area. He's Welsh. Okay, it's Welsh.
Welsh. Okay, that makes a little more sense because classical Welsh.
I know it was in that vicinity, that area. I mean, I know obviously not apples and oranges, but
definitely apples and oranges. Look at the old town names there in Wales, like using their original language Yeah, I can't read it, right? I can't read that, whatever that is. After a very long season of great fluff and banter, I wanted to say thank you for keeping me company all year, even at the darkest times, boys. We're here for you, Robin. And I know that was a horrible English accent. So even though you're not English, you're Welsh.
Was it a good Welsh accent?
No.
Not even close.
No, I'm really bad at distinguishing, especially between, like, say, Eastern Welsh accents and Southern sort of English accents. I'm not good. I'm not good. That's where I can get the normal ones, like Scouse, obviously, and then you got the Sunderland accents, and those are a little bit easier to distinguish. There is a sort of distinguishable, like, more central Welsh pronunciation.
You just say it's similar to Hugh.
Oh, so
and then you
glad
want to follow
I
it up with
asked.
saying, "I'm Welsh, you prick."
Prick. Well, unlike our friend Tact, we recognize your country as a country. Okay. Yeah. So at least give us credit. Like, we know, I'm a historian. I know where Wales is. I know exactly where it is. I know its history. Not a lot about its history, but enough, right? Enough to get a pass.
Here we go.
All right.
This one's for you.
Say Leicestershire. That can't be spelled right.
I'd pronounce it as Leicestershire, right?
Leicestershire. That's got to be it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been there, and I didn't know that was a place. I didn't know it was one of the shires, if you will. Right?
They're all the shires up there. That's
Right.
the whole point of Lord of the Rings, right?
Right. What do you expect from a German? Oh, come on. We just found out my dad's like 60% Celtic, for Christ's sake. We know I should know more about the Isles, that my dad's people are from the Isle of Man. I am literally half Manx. There you go.
Well, what does it say that you know more about your German heritage instead?
Well, the German heritage side on my mom's side is much more complicated. It's got all kinds of weird stuff mixed in there, right? You got the German, you got the Polish, the Lithuanian, Finnish, the Sami, even a little bit of Jewish. But it's mostly German. All right, so there you go. But she didn't know that, Let her Chestershire.
Sure. So I guess Shire is pronounced sure.
Depends where you're from.
Wales?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Again, American, I told you how I'd pronounce it. It's Leicestershire, right?
That's not bad. Leicestershire.
I wasn't too far off, technically speaking. The whole Shire and Shire thing was just weird. But I speak American English. It's not my language, so I speak American English poorly too. So
yeah. By the way, yes, Celtics used to be on mainland Europe. This is very, very true. They were right there, right in the goddamn middle of it. They were also in Spain, Greece.
They're practically anybody who wasn't Roman before the Romans roamed,
Right. I mean, they are why the Romans built Hadrian's Wall at the end, right? They're like, fuck those guys. We don't want anything to do with them anymore. Let's build a wall here and let them have Scotland. Screw it. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Derek looks like no German I ever met, and I lived there for 5 years in Wiesbaden, but he counts it to the heavens. No, I don't. And I don't think, now that I know more about my dad's side, honestly, it makes sense, right? I do look way more like my dad than my mom. There is no doubt about that, at least facially wise, chin wise. The chin and the nose. I got his nose. I got his chin. Got his ears.
I mean, speaking of the Celts and the Nordics, we have strong genes, and we, even interbreeding and everything like that. Our offspring look more like us than the others.
Right. Now, my hands look like my grandfather on my mom's side, and my body shape is like my grandfather on my German side, and the hairy ass nature of myself is more like my Opie, right? He was a hairy motherfucker, and I am too. As soon as I crossed like the 40 years old, shit started coming out of everywhere. orifice in every area. And I'm like, why? How did I get so fucking hairy all of a sudden? But it all makes sense. All right.
Folks, it says the Romans made building walls great again.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I'm very German, apparently, and very Celtic. That's what it is. All right.
We're about to dive into a long dive for the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
Have you followed any of the drama going on about it?
Yeah, the Seattle players all wearing cash grab shirts. Is that right? Yeah, I saw a tweet on it. I didn't pay it much mind.
Do you know what they're referring to?
The fact that the players aren't really getting paid for this whole extra adventure.
Pretty much. So I mean, a lot of people are calling out the hypocrisy as far as calling out a cash grab, and then not calling out like League's Cup or anything like that, which is legitimately a cash grab too.
Well, they can't call out that. That's an actual MLS. CONCACAF created. They can't call out their own tournaments.
The issue they have with the Club World Cup and not getting paid out has to do with the same rules and regulation that pay out for the club or for League's Cup and US Open Cup. It's all part of their collective bargaining agreement. If you're partaking in these extra league or the extra cups and stuff like that, you only make a certain amount of money. We'll go over that here in a second.
Yeah.
So the amount of money that they're going to make if an MLS team wins is a small pittance compared to what MLS will end up making in the end.
Oh yeah.
So that's what they're pissed off about. You know, winning 50% of the U.S. Open Cup money to the players. Okay, nobody's gonna fucking bat an eye to that. But the amount of money that the Club World Cup will bring to the league or the team or whatever, that's what the issue is.
Players got to have a stronger union. They don't, and so they're not getting what they want.
So Major League Shill wants to know what the hell the League's Cup has to do with players protesting about not getting paid during the Club World Cup. James says nothing in this instance, really, because the issue here is the Club World. The issue here is that the Club World Cup is paying unusually high prize money, and incorporating so many teams and making this such a big tournament, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
They had to pony up a little bit more money.
Well, I guess the good news for the MLS players and most of the Mexican teams is they're only going to have to play 3 games.
Ouch!
Ba-boom.
I mean, Seattle's no Vancouver, Derek. They'll move on. In fairness, Vancouver didn't make it to the finals, right? So,
I mean, we'll see what happens, but those groups are not easy that we're in.
No, we talked about that one a couple shows back.
Yeah, we're going to struggle. Now, do any third place teams get in? There's a chance we could get in. So our friend MLS Moose says we're so cooked. I think you're right. I mean, we looked at the groups a week ago and we're like, ooh, ow, oh, good luck.
Like, I don't think there was a single group where we said, oh, yep, we'll get first or second, one of the two.
Right. I think even Miami's doomed. So,
yeah.
I mean, it looks bad.
Will does go on and talk about it. He goes, yeah, but they don't care about the League's Cup or getting a respectable salary cap for the league. Get the fuck out. And what he's talking about is that MLS Players Association put out a statement backing up Seattle players.
Sure.
So I don't know if you want to go ahead and read this. You'll read it faster than I can.
I mean, yeah, the MLSPA and all MLS players stand united with Seattle Sounders players who tonight demanded a fair share of the FIFA Club World Cup prize money. FIFA's new tournament piles on to the players' ever-increasing workload with 3 more games without regard to their physical well-being.
I didn't see the asterisk in there. How do you read that? That's amazing, Derek.
In order to seize this additional calendar territory, FIFA had to commit historic amounts of prize money to secure club and player participation, even if it was only for 3 games. As a result, MLS will receive an unprecedented financial windfall. Despite this windfall, the league has refused to allocate a fair percentage of those funds to the players themselves. For months, the players have privately and respectfully invited the league to discuss bonus terms Yet MLS has failed to bring forward a reasonable proposal. Instead of recognizing the players who have brought MLS to the global stage, the league, which routinely asks the PA to deviate from the CBA, is clinging to an out-of-date CPA provision and ignoring long-standing international standards on what players typically receive from FIFA prize money in global competitions, even if you only play 3 games. It is the player who makes the game possible. It is the players who are lifting MLS up on the global stage, even if it's only for 3 games. They expect it to be treated fairly and with respect. Yeah, but they're weak. That's the problem with the MLSPA. They're weak.
Here's the thing: if it's an out-of-date CBA provision, who negotiates that provision?
Yeah,
it's MLS and the MLSPA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys are pissed off that there's this provision that you guys didn't care about in the past. Because again, US Open Cup or CONCACAF Champions Cup, I mean, if the players make 50% of the prize money, which is the thing, and I'll pull it up here real quick.
You don't have to. I believe you.
No, yeah, it just says it's if you play in non-compulsory tournaments such as US Open Cup, Canadian Championship, CONCACAF Champions League, although now it's CCC. The other cups, Campones Cup? Okay. I'm guessing it's Champions Cup?
Campeones Cup.
Yep. And Leagues Cup. If a team or MLS receives prize money, 50% of it will go to the players, up to a maximum of $1 million per tournament. Which means if MLS ends up making something like, let's just say $4 million from Seattle winning the Club World Cup, players will only see $1 million of that. That's split amongst them.
So Mario goes on below and totally misses the point. So they want 50% of 9.5. That isn't going to set well with the salary cap rules. The salary cap rules have nothing to do with winnings and earnings from winnings. They don't count against the salary cap. So I don't know what you're thinking there, Mario.
What they're pissed off about is that if they do win and they get 9.5 million, they're not going to get 50%. They're only going to get 1 million. That's the issue.
Right. So,
and that's what they're pissed about. And you know where the MLSPA can address that issue at the next CBA negotiations.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they should have seen this coming earlier. This Club World Cup, people have been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
So when was the last CBA? Maybe they just didn't update it completely. So
I mean, they do it every. I have to look at that.
I don't think it's every year.
How often?
Because some of those CBAs are like 2-year agreements. So
CBA. 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
So COVID time, right?
Yeah.
Right around COVID time, they had to do it.
So basically, the PA are saying you're not really standing by the letter of the law because that should be, even though it's not listed on the list of the tournaments, you should know, MLS, that it would belong on that list. And you're just not putting it on there. And you're going to take all the money.
Yeah.
And they're right. They're right about that. But
yeah, 100%. But they didn't address it because at the time there was no tournament that was really making or offering that much in prize money that 50% wasn't sufficient. Or they were never going to meet. They're never going to exceed over 1 million by doing 50%.
Yeah, I don't get this. Yeah, go ahead.
But my thing is they're bitching now because it's the issue now because this is a new tournament with the new rules and payouts. So they're we should have a stipulation. MLS is going, well, why? You guys negotiated this. You guys agreed to this.
It's not on the list.
Yeah. Well, it is on the list. It's just it caps out at 1 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then Alexi says, so I think the Seattle Sounders players and the MLSP are being hypocritical. I guess if the FIFA Club World Cup is a cash grab and without regard to the physical well-being, as they allege, then why are the players trying to grab more money? Because MLS is taking almost all of it for themselves. And the players feel like they're part of what's going to make the tournament watchable and interesting.
And maybe he can expound on this. Maybe he does later on or whatever. But the without regard to the physical well-being would be the reason behind requesting more money.
That'd be one of them.
Like, well, geez, if I'm going to put my body in the line, I better make more money for this, right? No, now I'm pissed. That's what they're saying.
You're making me play 3 more games, and you're not really paying me for that, right?
Yeah.
I'm just supposed to suck it up and take it in the butt while you run off with all the money. I think that's what they're saying, and I don't know that's not hypocritical. That's just them saying we want our fair share. That's all.
You know what? That money's just going to go back and be reapplied to the teams as Garber bucks.
Probably.
Damn, in the end. I mean, the players are just pissed that it's not going to their overall salary. It's going to go to future salaries of other players, basically.
I mean, theoretically, yes, you're right. It'll be added to the GAM money or whatever.
MLS is going to make their money, but they're also going to have to continue to increase the game of TAM because, I mean, that's part of the CBA negotiations.
Yep.
Hey, give us more funny money, Garber. Come on.
And
Why can't you give us more funny money?
And with the current cap rules, it's the only way teams can spend more.
Yeah.
And by the way, to give Garber some credit, he did design TAM and GAM to get around the stingy owners at the time who said no to a cap raise because Garber wanted to raise the cap, and so did all the new teams like Seattle and Portland and Atlanta. They all said, yes, let's raise the cap. But the old school owners in New England and Kansas City and other places, yes, without them, the league would not have survived. I get it. But the old school owners don't want to spend any more money. They're stingy. So this was Garber's way of getting around the old school owners who, by the way, dominated the board at the time. And he's just continued to use it and continued to grow TAM and GAM. So, yeah. All right. Probably too much MLS. But it's Club World Cup topic.
So I was curious to find out how other World League teams handle the money and stuff like that. So I typed in, how much money does Man City players make from the Club World Cup? And, Google AI basically just said that Man City players don't directly make money from the Club World Cup. The money goes to the clubs, not individual players. Now, I'm assuming that those clubs then,
don't assume too much.
Some money.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. So I would say generally, and the players have done this to themselves. They have allowed this to get 100%. To this point where they won't say no. No, we're not playing any more games. No.
Take that stupid stipulation that they said 50% of the winnings go to the players up to $1 million. Just remove the fucking $1 million.
Yep.
I mean, that's what the players should be fighting for right there. Just say, hey, there shouldn't be a cap.
Yep. I agree. Hi, did you notice in the news all of these players from the Club World Cup teams who are superstars for their countries? They're all playing their 2 friendlies before the Club World Cup with they're all there with their teams.
You mean this topic right here?
Yeah.
Turkey has plenty of Club World Cup players playing in their friendly. And Kevin wants to know why we couldn't just break the camp up and say, hey, you have one camp of friendlies, and then those players that are going to be in the Club World Cup can then shuffle off to the Club World Cup.
I mean, it makes sense. It's what we said on the show when we saw that Donovan, when we saw Pulisic not coming, when we noticed McKennie and Weah met long, we assumed they weren't coming, but all the other smarter big, teams like Portugal, and I mean, I could go through the list. All of their guys who are slated to play in the Club World Cup, guess where they are right now? Training with their World Cup teams. And they're about to go play a couple friendlies, and then they'll go back with their club. And that's what we should have done too. How come no one thought of that? Maybe they did think of it, and Pulisic still said, no, thank you. Or maybe Weah said, nah, no, thanks. I don't know.
And, Lawless backs it up here and says, hey, the players who opted out or unable to play in the Gold Cup could have still participated in the friendlies and then skipped the Gold Cup.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, this is one of those things. Just because, I know the Gold Cup roster had to be submitted before even the first friendly match. But then again, you could have had two completely separate rosters.
Yes.
But hey, here's our friendly roster. It includes 60% of the players that are going to be on our Gold Cup roster, but we do have 40% of our players who won't be able to make it for personal, or physical, or Club World Cup reasons.
I mean, we've seen Berhalter do it prior. He's like, yeah, you'll play these games, and then nope, that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
I'm sending you home. He sent players home after a couple friendlies before. Why can't we do it? Why can't we do it now? Why didn't Poach do it?
Poach already did it once, actually. He sent Pulisic home after one game for a rest or whatever it was, right?
Well, S27 makes a good point. Derek, it's also possible those guys have just been dropped. I mean, if you listen to the way Poach is talking right now.
Well, we're going to hear in a bit, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But I'm getting there with you on that one.
He may have just literally just said, fuck off then. We're gonna start looking elsewhere.
Yep. Yeah. And we'll get to that.
Jumping back to the Club World Cup real quick, since we're just talking about it because of players who were absent because of that. This topic came up recently. This article, apparently. An article reporting that Matisse Albert has officially joined the Dortmund first team. A debut in the Club World Cup or sometime next season, looking increasingly likely for the winger. And it's this article. He's whatever, ruhr24.de article.
Yeah, DE being Deutschland's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went through it and I had to translate because I do not speak the German. But way that they describe it is like, oh yeah, he's been promoted to the first team. Like, no. But all the reports coming out from Dortmund have been, hey, these are 5 U19 players that have been brought in for the Club World Cup to experience it.
This is
not
a
necessarily
temporary,
play it, but to experience it.
It's a temporary promotion to the first team.
And then they're going to go back to the U19s, or in Matisse Albert's case, hopefully the second
Dortmund 2 team. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're just broadcasting. It's like, oh, he's been officially promoted. He's going to join the team, and it's just like, oh, the article is like saying, oh, he's going to be the replacement for Gittins, because Gittins is being chopped about, and it looks like Chelsea's aiming to pick up Gittins before the Club World Cup so they can have him on the roster. Like,
I mean, all that's possible, but I mean, if you look at Gittins' playing time, there are a lot of guys that played just as much as he did. He was kind of like, by the end of the season, an off and on kind of player. So I don't know. Maybe he was injured. I don't know. But if it were true, we would say it. But I don't think that this is him being promoted permanently to the big boy team yet.
Well, no, there's no official notice from Dortmund about that. They've talked about him being a promising player, and then there was rumors that he's going to join the second team this season.
Yeah,
there was talks that, hey, he's one of 4 or 5 players from the U19 squad, not even their second team, but the U19 squad that's being included in this private plane to America so they can experience all the Club World Cup has to offer. And then that's all we heard. So it doesn't sound like it's permanent by any means. It sounds like he's there to experience and have a good time and see what could happen if they continue to work hard.
Had I thought of it, I would have messaged my friend at Transfer Market, and he would have probably given me the down low on all this. But I can tell you, I don't think he's officially on the first team.
No, all the signs, everything that's been out, all the signs indicate no.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love it if it was.
Me too.
I'd love it if he followed Reina and Pulisic's, path of a 16-year-old winger cracking the first team eventually here soon.
That'd be great.
I'd love it.
I would love it too.
I want to see it though.
Maybe it will happen. I don't know.
It could, and that could be it too. He could in fact impress over the summer, and maybe the first team is sort of like, well, let's give him a call up. Like not a call up into our our game day 18. Sort of like how Cole Campbell was occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. but I don't think it's been officially joined. So
Yeah, I don't know about that at all.
I'll disagree here.
Yeah. Yep. Me too. All right. So what else we got here?
All right. Well, we're going to bounce into a favorite segment of the show.
All right.
Not the Where Are They Now, but this one.
Transfer news. Who's getting mounted on transfer news? Who's getting over on transfer news? Everyone loves that transfer news, but me. Whatever.
All right.
Okay. So I wanted to preface this because Frank, he asked a bot on Twitter, asked Perplexity, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What are the respective probabilities associated with fully expected, likely candidate, and unlikely to stay? And this sounds like something that you would do on your own, Derek.
Yeah, I know.
Are you asked Perplexity by chance?
I could be.
So he breaks it down right here, like fully expected. This typically suggests that's very high likelihood, often 90% or above. Expected is 75 to 90. Likely is 60 to 75. Candidate is 30 to 50, meaning, they're keeping tabs on it more or less. And then unlikely to stay is probably below 30%.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that any of these definitions actually work for the players mentioned in the list.
Oh, true enough. And then it's just the terminology used, and that's what they're saying here. It
Right.
might pan out. It may not pan out. And unlikely to stay might actually pan out, and they get transferred to the team, and a fully expected might not.
Do you have that list?
Oh, of course I do, Derek. I've never come to the show without this list.
Yes, it is indeed fully expected that Josh Sargent's leaving Norwich.
That's 90% or higher, Derek.
Everyone believes that, including Norwich. So there you go.
Yeah.
Norwich fans, Norwich administration. Yes, I'm glad that he's got offers, by the way, from Germany. I would like to know what they are, and I would like him to take those opportunities rather than go play for a newly promoted Premier League team and just end up dropping down again.
That would be the rough scenario. I mean, I know that he'd get a shot with Leeds. He'd absolutely get a shot. Probably a shot all season, quite frankly. But yeah, I mean, the possibility of them staying up at that point is going to be tough.
But some of the things mentioned on this list are kind of like, yeah, Tom, don't bogart that joint, my friend. We know this already. I mean, everybody knows this about Sargent. This is not, he's not revealing, Bogart's not revealing anything. Whoa, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know he was going to go anywhere.
Like Matt Turner's not going back, not in for us? Really?
No, I think he's going to go back as a starter after his great season with Crystal Palace.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic.
A team he barely played for, like a game or two, and happens to have finished half the table down lower than Forest. Of course he's not going back to Forest. Are you kidding?
No, he's not going to happen. He'll have to go find a new job somewhere. MLS, championship. I don't know if anybody in the championship looked at
Matt Turner was sold to Luton Town or whatever for a new ticket ripper.
Something like that. I mean, we'll see, right? But I think
he's not EPL bound. He's not EPL bound. He's more likely to go to a lower division or back to MLS. Yeah.
Yep. That's it. Those are his options.
Yep.
All right. With Holstein Kiel suffering relegation, John Tolkien is a candidate to move clubs again. I don't think so. I disagree with that. I think
Holstein is going to be thinking that they're going to be vying for promotion again next season.
They've got one shot to get back up. They've got enough money to get back up 1 year. I don't know why you'd sell your best players.
What if Tolkien's back and he performed well and everything like that. And they paid like $3 million for him, which was like the club's record high transfer or whatever it was. Was it 6?
I thought so.
Okay, maybe it was. Never mind. Okay, I don't think he's going to pull 6. So never mind. That squashes my entire hypothetical altogether.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if they just signed him. Literally. It was only we're talking months, not years, months ago. They're just going to go sell him right off. I think that fans should be really disappointed about that. If they have any chance of getting right back up into the Bundesliga, they got to hold on. Some of the best ones they got. Now, some of the other ones probably have escape clauses, and we don't know if Tolkien has one. And if they do, they can kind of force the issue, kind of like Aronson did at Leeds the first time around. So, anyhow, we'll see about that.
Block that real quick. Hold on 1 second. I got the. He was bought by Holstein Kiel for 2.5 mil.
Okay, that's not very much.
So that brings me back to the point I was going to make. What if a team comes and says, "Hey, we're going to offer you 4 mil for him"? Because we saw a lot of promise there. He was injured, unfortunately, but we saw a lot of promise. We're going to offer you 4 mil for him.
Take it.
Do you think? Yeah, I would think they'd probably take it.
They probably would. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the only way I can think about it. I mean, they're not gonna take it. Somebody's gonna come in and say, "Hey, give me $1 million," and you're gonna be like, "Yeah, sold." They're not gonna do that.
Yeah, and we don't know what his particular salary is either, so should be interesting to find that out. But Caleb Wiley likely to depart Chelsea on another loan. Absolutely.
No, likely. Yeah. Fully expected. Come on.
Busio expected to leave Venezia after the club suffered. I suppose, but who wants him? Another Serie A team? I don't think so. He was one of the highest paid players on the team, and he didn't play like it. He was just one of the guys.
He had matches that were there.
That's one of the guys, really.
But yeah, if he's definitely the highest player, then you'd expect him to be there more than just some of the games.
I don't think there are only 2 other players that make as much as he did, or were bought, or were bought for as much as he did, or their transfer market, there's only 2 other players on the team with a transfer market near his.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody else is way down the tube. So,
I mean, they may take the transfer just because. I imagine his contract's got to be coming to an end soon, unless he recently extended.
We don't know. We'd have to look up transfer market to find out how long that is,
I'll do it here real quick.
When it expires. But point being is, maybe they look at him and go, "Well, his transfer market's up there." But he
signed a 1-year extension through June of 2026. So he's got 1 year left here. Like if Venezia don't sell them, he's going to go on the freeze.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it wouldn't surprise me if he went somewhere else. I can't really. He wasn't a standout player for Venezia this season. He was one of the guys.
Yeah.
He wasn't like the best player on the team or one of the best 3 players on the team. He was just a starter. And he played pretty well. He wasn't horrible. But did he make enough of a name for himself for newly promoted teams or teams still in Serie A to go, yeah, that's a guy we want. Let's go get him. I mean, personally,
imagine
no.
Maybe there's a new Serie A team that might, from Serie B that might pick him up because they've all witnessed his final season at Serie B last year.
It's possible, but they're guys that played better than him on that team.
We'll put it this way. I mean, Venezia paid $6 million for him. He's worth 6.5 right now. I don't think he's going to pull that.
I don't think so. So we'll see what happens.
2 to 3 million probably is my guess.
And
that's
then
speculation.
Another guy that wasn't called in, right? By Poach. We don't have any details about why or why not, but Griffin Yao very likely to leave Westerlo. Don't know his contract, but if it's up soon, I guess it says it is. You only have 1 year. It's usually when you want to sell a guy, but unlike the season before, Griffin Yao had a very meh season this year with Westerlo. Yeah. He wasn't even a locked-in starter most of the time, every single game.
What's more likely to happen here is he might sign a 1-year extension.
Could be.
Just so that way he has the opportunity to really make his name, stamp his name. And Westerlo might have a chance to actually make some money off of him.
I mean,
not that they paid for him. I mean, he came over on the free, didn't he?
Yeah. So
the DC kid, wasn't he?
Yeah. So don't know what's going to happen to Griffin Yao. I mean, listen, what happens when you have an immense great season is other teams notice you and they want you that are bigger than the team you're currently on. But he didn't do anything this season to blow anybody's balls off. And so I don't know how many suitors he's going to have. As it says at the end, no offers have arrived yet. That's not surprising. Yep.
And extensions often means they're selling them. Absolutely, 100%. What I'm saying why they might do a 1-year extension is basically saying he's got 1 year left on his contract. If they don't make an extension now, they're basically going to lose him on the free.
Yes. So you make the extension and then you try to sell him. And if nobody comes with an offer worth a dick, you're just like, well, he'll just play for us another year again.
Yeah.
Yep. Brian Reynolds expected to leave Westerlo this summer, continuing their pursuit from winter. Czech side Sparta Prague remain hopeful in bringing Reynolds, but they're not the only club chasing after him. I really don't understand what he did this season to have all these suitors chasing him. Now, I only watched 6 games this season. I'm not blown away. This is a league that is mostly lesser than on an average, if you average the games out that you got to play, lesser than MLS. And neither of these two guys blew anybody's dicks off. None of them. Neither did. So if he wants to go to Sparta Prague, I guess they play in the Champions League. Fine, go. But it's not.
You also got to go where the money goes. Calls for you too. I mean, I don't know if Sparta's going to be paying you more than Westerlo, but if they do,
they could.
They have no better options here.
They might have deeper pockets.
Yeah.
Westerlo's a small team, very small. So, all right, well, we'll see what happens there. But anyhow, it's good to just kind of talk about these things.
Sure.
And then Premier League side, Fulham. Oh, this would be. I'd love it if it happened. Currently interested in 22-year-old Pepe. Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, you're about to enter a season with no Americans on the team at all, Derek. So I mean, that's going to be really weird for you to follow a team.
If Jedi goes,
feels like
it's
a pretty safe assumption.
Pretty much a 75 to 80% assumption he's going. So yes,
it's fully expected, Derek. It's fully expected.
Fully 90%. Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't understand this if I'm Fulham because he's coming off a serious major injury. You might want to wait a season and see how he bounces back from the injury and let him stay at PSV for another year before you buy a player who's currently injured and probably will still be injured when you sign him in the summer window.
Yeah. Or just getting off as such, yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, unless you just believe in him to such an extent you're willing to take that chance. I'm not sure I'm a big believer in this happening. But I'll just go watch an American-less Fulham for the first time in a long time.
If you're Pepe, I mean, you're looking at this going like, well, here's a mid-table EPL side that's going to splash some cash for me. I like my chances. I mean, he's got confidence going right now, minus the injury aspect, of course. But the other side of the coin, you're looking at, I mean, surely PSV is not going to be relying on Luke de Jong again, and you're not going to be playing bit minutes to him again. You'd be, in theory, their number one striker if healthy.
I mean, selfishly, I'd love them to get Pepe, but because I'm a Fulham guy, not that way. I'm watching Fulham because I'm going to watch him anyhow, and I'm watching Pepe. It's great if he gets to play, but like injury-wise, this just doesn't make sense. You're going to go sign a player who's yet to prove that he's, can get healthy, come back from that injury, and he's gotten back to where he was before the injury. Like, that takes time, too. So you're bringing him in at a time where he's coming off or could still be injured but when you sign him, which teams don't sign injured players very often. It's not something they do. So
he's got to be coming out with that injury, though. He's got to be on the tail end there.
Jedi ain't leaving Fulham. Boy, from your lips to God's ears, BMR. I hope that's true.
Yeah, the talking point there would be either Jedi stays at Fulham and just opts to be a Fulham legend, or
yes, do that.
he opts to take his payday as an aging left back. I mean, he's not getting faster, so he's gonna have to make up his game elsewhere. Do you just take your paycheck? I mean, at that point, and
depends
hope
on
to force your way onto a team like Liverpool, which I don't know if if that was his childhood team. I mean, I know he's from the area, but
well, it is from the area, and it's been the talk, and he was on the best EPL All 11 this season as the best left back in Premier League. So I think he could go there and start. I don't think that's an issue. So
well, I mean, you'll be playing in the same fucking league, and you're going to be surrounded by better players. I mean, it's not like you're jumping from like the Belgium league to Liverpool,
right?
You know, so I mean, he's already got the experience of the league. He's just going to be surrounding himself with better players in the end.
And as Elvis once sang, "It's now or never." Yeah, it's now or never. I don't think he can wait another 2 seasons to get the kind of signing he's about to be. Now, if it's not Liverpool, because they get another player. I mean, there are other teams that probably want him. Who are they? Well, at one point, it's an Italian team that wanted him until he didn't.
I'm pretty sure Man U's name was in there somewhere.
Oh God, no, Les, no. You don't go to a car wreck. You don't join a car wreck. Right?
Just putting it to bed. S27 says Jedi was an Everton fan growing up. He hates Liverpool.
Oh well,
but I'm sure Jedi also loves money though too. So. Well, I'm not sure how much more money or Liverpool would pay him.
Everton can't afford him.
Oh, he's not going to Everton, yeah.
Everton can't afford him. So
no, stay at fucking Fulham if that was the case. Fuck that.
Or go
you can go to Everton when you're 32.
Go join Pulisic at AC Milan.
There you go. There's an idea.
If Theo's really going to leave, right? I mean, all the rumors is, but listen, some guys don't want to take that Middle Eastern money to go disappear into nowhere where no one cares about you anymore and no one watches you play. Like
Mbappe turned down $750 million for like a season. I think is what it was.
I mean, Ronaldo's got to be like he has enough money already. How much more money did he need? And then to play the last few decent years you've got left in your body, and no one watches it. Not even the Saudi.
I hope he's got a couple more seasons because that all sounds like LA Galaxy are going to be signing him.
That does sound like that's a possibility. Yes, that's the most LA Galaxy thing I've heard so far. Yeah,
well, they got Beckham, they got Ibra, and now they're going to get Ronaldo. So
we'll see if that works.
It's right
out.
Up there with it, right?
Well, he wants a Messi deal if he's going to LA. That means that
he's going to have to get a Messi deal. Yeah.
MLS is going to have to give him a cut from the league, essentially, because that's what they did with Messi. They didn't just sign him, a massive deal. They also said, well, here's some extra benefits you get, i.e. part ownership of a team. That's what he's going to want. So that's what they gave Beckham when he came. Remember? They promised Beckham own.
Beckham was gifted a team.
Yes, they just gave him a whole team, not even a cut of a team. They just said, here's a whole team. It's yours.
You like Miami? You want the Miami expansion? It's all yours.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was.
Now, you're going to have to find other investors because as rich as you are, David Beckham, you're not a billionaire 2 times over. You're going to need to go find some billionaires, which he easily did. Easily found other investors. So,
shocker.
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
One more thing. Yeah, this is kind of leading into the
big topic.
Yeah, the main topic, basically. Just some shakes and moves by Canada.
Yeah. So Jesse's bringing Michael Bradley. That's an assistant coach for the Canadian national team. Now,
I brought his name up recently.
Poach didn't do it. We could use an American on.
I think that's what we were talking about. We were like, hey, where's the American, lightning rod? Basically, the focal point of who people can associate with him. And we mentioned all the different coaches and stuff like that that could step up. And I believe we brought up Bradley. Now, we brought up both Bradleys technically, but
yeah. Well, certainly Bradley's an asshole, Michael. He's arrogant, and that could be intimidating. Or you bring a Dempsey in who's more inspirational. or a great example. But I mean, if
what
you
do we
want
need more of right now? Do we need more inspiration, or do we need an asshole?
kind of an asshole is what we need.
Kind of need an asshole, yeah.
I mean, everybody you talk to behind the scenes, and some of them said it out loud.
Adam said it. We need to get our asses kicked.
Well, Jimmy. Jimmy's
Oh.
Jimmy called Bradley a know-it-all.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Dempsey or Donovan called him an asshole, and like in a good way. Howard said, "Yeah, one guy to be up my ass on the phone right away would be Michael Bradley." Say, hey.
Well, he also said that Bradley would also sacrifice her friendship if it meant winning a match.
Right.
So
he's an asshole.
Yeah. He's like, get your fucking head out of your ass and make a fucking save, goddammit.
Right. And one guy and they actually had to go get counseling, apparently. I don't know if you heard that. So at one point, there were so many assholes on the team that they had to go get a counselor to clear the air. And because you had JJ, Michael, Clint, Tim Howard, you had a bunch of guys who were super, super vocal on that team. And the counselor said, listen, all you just need to turn it down a notch. Okay. The leadership's great, but we can't have this many alphas talking at the same time. That is something our team currently has no alphas.
Yeah.
Maybe
share the load.
Maybe Adams is the closest we got to an alpha. I don't even believe that. But that's how many alphas were on that old team, right?
Yeah.
That they had to get counseling to chill out the alphaism, to get everybody to tone down a notch, because everybody wanted to be the leader on that team. Yeah.
Jackie D says, bring in JJ, which I know you'd like and all.
Oh, yeah, I would.
I thought we read or interpreted or just heard that once he started getting involved with U.S. Soccer as after being a player, he's kind of toed that company line.
Yeah,
kind of softened up on calling things out.
Well, he's not going to criticize U.S. Soccer. Let's just put it that way.
All right. So I mean,
if he's hired by U.S. Soccer to be Poach's assistant, he won't be able to do anyhow. So at least he's practiced it, right?
Yeah.
He's practiced not being an outspoken jerk. But I would love JJ. He's one of the guys they would talk about in the locker room. The guys would be afraid of if he got upset at you. You'd be kind of like, oh shit, get out of my face! God damn, you scared me. All right, Vivas Julian says for $4.99. Thank you, brother. Did you guys think Poach will make any changes to the Gold Cup roster? I don't get why Tolkien or Wiley is not in the squad. Listen, we don't get it either, because he had a chance here,
the perfect chance, right?
To bring one or two of those guys.
I mean, it's like I guess DeJuan Jones is technically a right back,
but he was going to play left.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be the backup at the very minimum,
right?
But I mean, I guess you replace him with another right back, and your backup to left back is your current starting right back.
I mean, you could say, oh well, it's just one of those things where the guys that he called up are already here and they're nearby. So it's easier to call up Nathaniel Harriel and Zimmerman, and Aronson's already back in, in the States with his family. Easy to call up. Well, aren't Wiley and Tolkien also back from the state to the States?
You'd imagine.
I would think they're back for the off season to hang out with their family and friends. So they're probably here too. But he just doesn't. I would gather he's never watched Wiley play. That would be my first thing. And I'm seriously doubting he ever watched a Holstein Kiel game. I just don't think he has. Doesn't value those guys.
We still have other players too. Like with Paxson. Paxson was a prime example up until now. Obviously, he got called in. It's like,
right.
I just wonder how many Utrecht matches Poach ended up watching.
Probably,
or is he just taking into consideration? Paxson's playing a lot there, and he's being highly praised and doing well, and Utrecht's up there, I guess.
I mean, the fact that he had Zawadzki over him, I don't know what that tells you, but I mean, for a guy who I think
maybe he just doesn't rate Holland.
I think he made the best 11 in Holland, or was it the best 23? But Paxton was on the list. So, yeah, I don't get it. And we don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know exactly how he's rating these guys. Does Zimmerman call up, who is he replacing again exactly? Nobody in particular. He's just an extra back. Center back.
You know that kind of tells me, bringing in an extra center back when you lose a midfielder, a back, and then a forward, is that we're probably going to see more or less the 3 center back-esque backs. You have your wing backs.
3 in the back and wing backs. Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine that'd be it.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I would agree. And Paxton Aronson's more of a CAM / he can play box to box as he did all season for Utrecht as well. Oh,
yep.
So
Chambers says that some quotes from Poach in the past make me think he doesn't rate the Eredivisie. That makes sense. But I mean, he calls in Malik Tillman, he calls in Dest, he calls in Pepe when Pepe's not hurt. Mind you, they're playing for the top team of
the best team
in Eredivisie. Yeah. So maybe he rates PSV and maybe Ajax
and Feyenoord, and that's where it ends. Yeah.
Aside from that, who fucking cares, right?
Yep. Right. Exactly. Could be. So, but
go ahead. Sorry, don't mean.
I was just going to say Swatsky. I mean, we've mentioned him on our reports a couple times.
Sure.
MLS reports, but it's not been that mind blowing. So I don't get it.
Given the season that Paxton had, how could you not give him the chance?
I don't know.
I mean, he's giving it to him now, but that seems as fortunate as injuries can be, I guess. I don't want to wish injuries on anybody, and I want them missing out their opportunities. I just think Paxton should have had the opportunity.
I mean, nobody projected Utrecht to finish that high in Holland.
And Jess Martian chat.
Do you hear what I said?
Sorry, no, I didn't hear you.
Nobody projected Utrecht at the beginning of the season to finish anywhere near where they did.
Oh, they were so far down the previous season.
Yeah,
they weren't relegation bound by any means, but they were lower middle table, if I recall correctly.
And that had one thing written all over it: Paxton Aronson. Sorry, he's the one of 2 big reasons that they were where they were. So if you just miss that and you think Swatsky's a better player than Paxton Aronson, I don't know what you're watching. All right, for the 274 of you here now, make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your grandma. All right.
That's 27 says Zimmerman is better than Miles Robinson. Well, he played more in the last World Cup.
Well, there are a lot of people saying that Miles Robinson is finally 100% back from his injury.
Tony was saying that he's picked up a step that he lost the previous couple of years after that injury.
Miola said that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I've only watched a couple games this season so that Miles Robinson played, so I really don't have a comment. I think Zimmerman is kind of right there with Miles. I think they're kind of not the same type of back, but
I guess it depends on how you rate Miles prior to his injury too.
A lot higher.
Just similar. Just like any of our center backs, quite frankly, and we don't really have any standing out head over shoulders by any means. But I mean, he still made mistakes. But the difference was he was fast enough to catch up to correct them when they happened.
Right, and hasn't been up until Tony said now he is back to that. So, all right,
we'll see. Fine. We'll see what happens.
But
regardless, I think
as you said though, the Zimmerman inclusion makes me think back 3.
Yeah, 100%. I think so. And quite frankly, even as Zimmerman and Miles, I mean, they even if it was a center back of 2, I mean, they should be able to hold their own against a number of the teams we're going to be seeing in the Gold Cup. Quite frankly.
Yes.
I mean,
and you don't have to be quite frankly about it. It's
and don't call me Shirley,
because I really think the 2 important games coming up even though they don't count for anything. But as far as real tests of us are the Switzerland game and the Turkey game.
Yeah.
Like, those were the games I want to see our full roster. And we're not going to see them because either we didn't have the forethought like other national teams have had.
Ones that we're facing. Yeah.
I mean, it's just unreal. We're playing two opponents who have players in the Club World Cup, and they said, but you're going to be with us for those two friendlies. All right? Fuck the Club World Cup for the minute. We'll let you go for that. But first, you're going to play these two friendlies with us. That's what we should have done too. I mean, how stupid are we? We got to be some of the biggest idiots. And these are guys that have played full seasons as well.
Unless this isn't just like we talked about, just a scenario where Poach is like saying, we've called them the names, they didn't perform. Maybe he's looking at it going, hey, let's call in some not no names, but lesser names and give them their chance to shine. Maybe it'll kick these prissy, snobbery kids, asses into gear.
These guys that want to go have dinner with their parents and their friends. These guys that want to go out and play golf. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what
he's
saying.
They didn't perform. And all of a sudden, we have half of an MLS squad now. So.
16 players. Well, 15 now, right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
All right.
George Yeager says center backs and keepers are Achilles' heel.
Absolutely, George.
Funny to think about because not that our center backs were ever like world class by any means, but they were dependable.
Yep.
We had some brutes back there that will knock your ass down and give you a death stare.
We got Gooch. We had Bocanegra. We had Howard. We even had Demerit.
I mean, Demerit went from the fucking 9th division all the way up to the to EPL.
I don't know what.
Come on, that's a fucking story and a half.
Is that 9th?
It was 9th. Yeah, he started off when he went to Europe. At the age of 18, he was playing the 9th division. It's practically his pub ball.
I didn't know there was 9 deep.
Oh,
but okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, what's the next part? Because I know there's something connected to this.
Yeah, well, Edgar says, notice something. Balogun got replaced by Paxson. Both play abroad. The two MLS players got replaced by MLS players, but one made 0 since Tolkien and Wiley were available at left back options to replace Jones with Harrell as right back. Anything to fulfill the MLS quota, I guess. That whole narrative is still going on.
Yeah. I don't think at this point. I
disagree.
We can't say that anymore. There's no MLS quota. I mean, because we were down to like one MLS player at one point. So there's no MLS quota. Yeah. This is something going on with Poach personally.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Poach wanting to either kick the named players' asses in the gear as we get ready to enter the final stages before the World Cup, or he really just wants to check on some players and test them. I think it's to kick these players who are because you take into consideration all the comments he made recently. The whole hey, you want to go hang with your family and friends, you want to go play golf. You take that into consideration.
Yeah.
You take into consideration we need players who really want to be there. God, there was one other thing I was going to bring up there that he really indicated that the falling back on bad habits or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That just screams to me that he's looking at these players that we've been playing for the last 5-6 years and who are our most technically gifted and best players and saying these guys are spoiled brats who don't necessarily want to be here for the right reasons.
Who also played for a coach who provided them all kinds of bad habits they cannot figure out how to get out of.
Yeah.
So that was also a criticism of Berhalter, without doubt. When he's talking about, when things get tough and when the pressure's on, we fall back on bad habits. We pass it backwards. We pass it sideways. He said, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So if we look at all of the range of things that Poach is saying about these players, including this, all right, he's got the guys that we all consider the guys, or the fans consider to be the guys on the team, they've got a target on their back right now. There's no Weah, no McKennie. And we used to say, oh, well, Weah and McKennie not there for the friendlies because they're going to be playing the Club World Cup. Well, fuck it. That's not true. Because all these other national teams who have players that are going to be playing in the Club World Cup, they're all playing their friendlies. Just our guys aren't.
Yeah.
Our guys are the guys that are like, well, I played the Club World Cup. Sorry. No, fuck you. A bunch of your teammates are playing for their national team as well. So you're wrong. Now, whether that was Poach's decision to not even bother to ask Weah and McKennie if they wanted to come play the friendlies and then be let go for the Club World Cup, who knows? I don't know, but based on all the things that we are hearing, it certainly sounds like he had no intention of even asking Weah and McKennie to play the two friendlies. And then he's reiterated numerous times, this is the team he expects to use going forward for the friendlies all the way through the Gold Cup and maybe beyond. This is a message. This is a message. And then this message he's about to hammer us with, this is all Pulisic targeting. This is Pulisic.
Well, and as Chambers mentions, there's apparently been cracks in the team ever since Qatar. As far that's a cause of bad habits. There's another one. Berhalter even came out and admitted that he kind of coddled their balls for the Copa.
Yep.
Ray Solons wants to know, can someone tell me why going out and playing golf or having dinner with the family outside of practice being a problem? I don't think we talked about this, I think, last show.
I don't think it is.
Having dinner with the family or seeing friends at night when you're not doing anything besides, hitting curfew. I don't think that's an issue. I think it's the expectation that you're going to come to this camp and lollygag 3/4 of the time by, hey, playing golf and hanging out with friends and family when you should be focusing on the window at hand.
What he's saying is, I think he would say this. It's all fine if you want to do those kind of things. If you're kicking ass and bringing high intensity to the games and we're winning. But if we're not, then maybe those things are a distraction for you. Maybe those things don't allow you to focus on the team while you're here. So, I mean, if he could speak better English, that might be how he explains it. But he can't, and so he does the best he can. But, yeah, I mean, for me, and I think for other past coaches, even Bruce would let the guys go out. Bob Bradley would let the guys, they had a curfew, but they had to be back in by a certain time. Maybe they didn't play golf. I don't know. This seems like a more new thing, playing golf during the day on your days off. But
I guess the issue is that we weren't holding the players accountable. So if they went and they played golf and they hung out with their family and friends at night, and they came the next day and played a game and they really shat the bed and it was just bad all around. Well, the next window, we're calling up the same guys. And I know we were in the same boat saying, no, this should be the roster. This should be the roster. Because we're expecting these players to come with the intensity of wanting to kill at every game.
Yeah.
So
if that's not what he's getting, and he's clearly saying that's not what he's getting, these guys are not coming with a chip on their shoulder. And I think you and I were the first one to say, well, that doesn't mean they don't care. They care. The problem is, I gave my example when I played tennis. It's okay to care, but are you 100% focused? Oh, I care about winning, but am I really bringing the 100% chip and intensity that I need to win, to be at my very best? Now, then you go, oh, shit, I lost, and I care, so I'm really disappointed. But, thinking back on it, I wasn't fully prepared. I didn't do everything I needed. So it hurts that it lost, but maybe it's kind of my fault. That's when you got to look in the mirror and go, caring ain't good enough, buddy. Caring schmearing. Who gives a shit about whether you care that you lost or the team lost? How about putting in the work? All of the work. So he said, listen, I let them go play golf and have dinner, and we tried that shit. All right? I'm done. I don't want that anymore. When my guys come in now, from here on out, you're here to fucking focus, and that's all there's going to be. Okay? That's what he's saying. I'm just translating for him.
It's like I'm calling in a bunch of alcoholics. I'm no longer giving them the alcohol. Supplement this.
Yeah, right.
You're going to have to, cut the cold turkey, guys. Come on, let's go.
Right.
All right, let's play this. Let's play this clip. It's making its rounds today.
Mm-hmm.
Today we have plenty of players playing abroad, of USA. But the most important thing is the culture, I think, that we saw in you, that to be desperate to come and be the priority, the national team.
Mm-hmm. So right there, he's saying, I'm looking at you two of you. And the culture that we want now is the culture you guys had, where there were too many leaders and there was no fucking around. And if there was any fucking around, you had JJ on your ass. You had Michael Bradley up your asshole. You had Howard on your asshole. You had Altidore up your grill. Where are the guys doing the up your grill part? You hold everybody accountable. You guys had the right culture. You came in, you lived and died and breathed for this team. So he's kind of kissing their ass a little there, but go ahead. He's right, though.
That gap was about to grow, maybe not thinking in this way. And
so I'm going to translate there again. He's saying, so that's how it used to be, but now there's a gap growing where the give a shit meter or the give a shit and not giving a shit, the gap's growing between those things.
Yeah.
Or, not giving 100, here's giving 110%. And maybe we're now at like we think we're so great because we play for these great teams. We only kind of come in at 75, right? You guys came in and gave your soul. You guys came in at 110. That's what he's saying.
Of us, that the people need to prioritize the national team. We were talking.
That's so true. He just outright said it there.
Yeah.
You need to prioritize.
This isn't a vacation. This isn't a Club Med.
Yeah, we've got a World Cup coming up, guys.
Yeah.
The biggest World Cup in our history. In our history as a country. It's not even my fucking country, and I understand. This is the biggest thing. And you need to come in like ready to kill it. There should be you should be drooling. You should be frothing at the mouth because this is that important. I mean, it could make and break the future of soccer in this country going forward, for all we know.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely the most important World Cup in our history, or recent history, because the last time we had it was 30 years ago, and the bulk of our fan base at this point was either just being born or hadn't been born at that point.
Yeah.
So this is their first real experience as far as having a World Cup.
Colin says, Tact and 11 Yanks think that Michael Bradley sucked.
So does Larry, though. Larry thought that too.
Well, they're all wrong.
Yeah,
I guess they didn't watch him in Italy.
I think
they didn't watch him at Gladbach. They didn't watch him at Heerenveen then. That's all I got to say.
I think Larry said that that Bradley peaked at Gladbach. He peaked at Gladbach.
I think he actually peaked in Italy.
I think he peaked at Chievo.
Yes, Chievo.
He still played when he played at Roma. Was fine-ish, but he
play all the time.
He excelled at Chievo, man.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So, all right.
I've never heard Tact and Pete say that, by the way. But go ahead.
We were talking about Argentine player or Brazilian player or English player or Spanish player. They are desperate. Even Messi, even Neymar, even Mbappe for France. We were working with these guys. Harry Kane. These guys are desperate to go, to the national team. And for them.
So, don't you think though that when they go to their camps with Spain and Italy, Brazil, Germany, whatever, that they if they're in the same country as their parents or friends, that they do nighttime dinners, that they go and do this. But to his point there is that they're desperate to be there. So even if they are going out and having these dinners with family and friends and stuff like that, they're still coming to practice. They're coming to those games and they're giving 100% every game.
They're professionals and they're coming in. They're desperate to play for their national team. They're desperate to win a World Cup for their national team. I mean, you think of Messi, of course he was. He finally got it done. But all he's saying here, and this isn't even hiding it at this point. These guys, they're not desperate to come play for the national team. And then unfortunately, Pulisic just proved it.
So here's the prime example. I make this argument every time you hear about a potential U.S. men's national team player rumored to be coming back to MLS. We talked about Sargent, and we're like, oh geez, I hope Sargent doesn't come to.
He's not coming.
With Cincinnati, hope he stays in England or goes to Germany. This is the last transfer window.
Whatever. He is. I can confirm.
But that's fine. But that's my point of the argument here is that we're saying that because he can come to MLS and he can score bucket loads of goal. But there's a difference between playing in MLS and vying for your spot at a European side, even if you're talking about. We talk about Belgium and stuff like that, but even if you're talking about a lower end team, you still have 3 or 4 guys nipping at your heels, which means that you better be on the top of your fucking game. Otherwise, somebody's going to usurp you. You don't have that issue so much in MLS to an extent.
Not as deep.
Same thing's happening in U.S. soccer culture. There's nobody nipping at Pulisic's heels.
No.
And we're not calling anybody in to give them the opportunity until recently.
Right.
So it's the same fucking mentality that's being passed down, and maybe that's kind of what Poach is trying to get at and saying, hey, we got to stop this shit. Well, you guys got to stop this shit.
Go back to Chambers' last comment real quick. About
the point blank one.
Point blank, people want to criticize the generation, but they don't like MLS players getting a chance. Listen, I have no problem with the way he's framing it right now. He's basically calling out the players and saying they're not desperate to come, so fuck them. I went out and got a bunch of guys who are desperate to come. And the fact that, I mean, at least for Brett and I, we've got nothing against MLS. I know other people do, but we don't. And so that's not our criticism. Our criticism is these are not the best players we have. And maybe he's got a legitimate point because he's hammering it over and over again that these guys don't come in. These European players don't come in with a chip on their shoulder. They don't come in with a fire underneath their assholes, ready to go. They're not focused on the team.
It would be one thing if these players were coming in and we were flat out dominating every match. And then all of a sudden you have 16 MLS players on a squad. Now, mind you, at that point, if we were dominating, we'd probably be more akin to say, okay, well, these players could probably take a break. They probably need a breather. But even then,
well, You could,
I guess.
Some people might say, well, Poach is just full of shit. He's making excuses because he's been poor or he's not putting in the time. So he's a poor example as somebody who's, but okay, if that were true, if Poach is full of shit, then why is Berhalter, who Poach has criticized, okay, he's criticized Berhalter. Why is Berhalter saying, yeah, we were getting really concerned about the lax behaviors and we were babying them. And that caught up with me. And I think what Poach is doing now, trying to tighten ship, is right. So I don't think Poach is full of shit here when he criticizes what he deems as a lax attitude by some certain players who are coming in who are not live or die U.S. men's national team, who don't come in with a chip and aren't coming in with fire and fury underneath their nutsack ready to go play for this team. I think there's definitely has to be an issue if Berhalter's saying it, and now Poach is saying the same thing. These players are coming in too soft. They think that they have eternally earned this spot because of the teams they play for and how big of the teams they play. Fuck those guys is what he's saying right now. And this specifically is a fuck you, Christian Pulisic.
Do you remember this narrative down here? How'd you write called Copa America a stepping stone? I mean, how much did we call that shit out for?
Oh, God, we hammered it.
Oh,
we hammered that shit. You do not call Copa America a fucking stepping stone. What a joke. You come to play to win, period. End of story. It's not a stepping stone. It is a learning experience, but you should be giving full ball sack the whole time. All right. Buxia, sorry for the delay. And thank you for the $5. Imagine the harm of the legacy of these guys. If Poach decides he wants to heart over skill in World Cup, West, Pulley, and others out, and we somehow do amazing. Yeah, I don't know if we do amazing. We might do or we might do the same. I don't know. I guess those are those kind of existential questions you'll never be able to actually mathematically, figure out.
It begs the question that if we did do the same, ultimately the same, out of the first stage of knockouts, etc., with a squad full of heart rather than the squad of skill. I'm not degrading the heart team for being skillless, or lack of skills,
or not as skilled.
Just not as skilled. Let's just say, I guess.
Sure.
So it'd be interesting to see if we still manage to do so with that being overly reliant on who would be deemed our best players rather than looking at who's busting their ass week in, week out, doing well everywhere.
And if I'm an MLS guy, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to take my chance, man. And I'm going in fucking chip on shoulder, balls out. I'm going to work my fucking ass off. And I'm going to make those other guys who may be technically better than me and are doing it at a high level in Europe look like they don't give a fuck. I'm going to make them look like, flowers, because I'm bringing the hammer. Although I did watch clips of practice, and it did look like there was a lot of goofing around going on.
Yeah.
But, whatever. Douglas. I like the alliteration of that.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. For $5, thank you, brother. Michael Bradley is the best midfielder we produced in the past 20 years. He would start and captain the current team without a doubt. Like the best of Michael Bradley? Yeah.
But without a fucking doubt, he'd absolutely be captaining and running this team.
Yes, captain for sure, because he's a leader. Like, we don't have a leader. We already went through, I just talked and discussed about how they had to bring, this is from Timmy Howard and Landon Donovan and backs stuff I already knew. They had to bring a fucking counselor into the team to tell JJ, Altidore, Michael Bradley, Dempsey, and whomever else, hey, you can't all be A-dogs. Since there can't be one A-dog, I'm going to ask all of you to tone it down just a little, and we'll take it from there, because you're all bashing the hell out of each other, and there's too much conflict in this team. They had to bring counselors in. Imagine them having to bring a counselor in for this team.
I guarantee you they have counselors for this team.
Oh, yeah, but this is about their making sure that they don't have PTSD after losing a game, right?
Yeah.
It's not this counselor we bring in for this team is how do we turn you from a flaccid, soft team into a team that's hard as rock and ready to fucking hit the opening,
Yeah.
That's the problem this team has.
C-Stu asks, was Bradley better than Jermaine Jones? I will say, if that's in reference to the last super chat, he does specify that we've produced. We didn't really produce Jermaine Jones. We got him as a finished product, quite frankly. Was he better than Jermaine Jones at things? Was Jermaine
not
Jones
all
better
things.
than Bradley at things? I mean, they complemented each other quite well, I thought, actually.
They were different types of players for sure. But I'm going to be out in the open here because I said it so many times on this team. But Jermaine Jones, my favorite U.S. men's national team player of all time. So, I mean,
I've always been a big Bradley stan. I've defended him over years over at Big Soccer. Ridiculous amount when the whole nepotism argument came up. We're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But S27 goes, which version of Bradley are we talking about? I'll take any European Bradley.
Gladbach Bradley.
Even the Heronbean.
I'll take the Heronbean one too. But
yeah, I would take that shit.
Prime Bradley was Chievo Bradley.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Late Gladbach into the year at Chievo, basically.
Yes.
That time period, that's prime Bradley.
So let's be fair. At Aston Villa, where he was thrown in for a game and never got to ever play a game again. Totally unfair. Did he?
Yeah, you just got off the plane. Hey, here's 30 minutes. Go for it.
Go for it. He looked like a deer in headlights. Yes, he did. But to never really get a shot again after you play one bad game.
That was a horrible loan stint.
That was tragic. Absolutely tragic. All right.
Let's finish this out.
When they go, also the rest of the player, but they don't see if it's a friendly game, it's an official game, it's a World Cup, doesn't matter. Because the possibility to defend one time more, your flag, your shirt, I think that is about to feel proud, about that. And that is the responsibility to us to translate.
So, but that goes with my MLS comparison, quite frankly. The reason why, you have the players in England, France, and Germany, Spain, Brazil, Argentina, and the real like super duper dedication that even if you have the one opportunity to defend that match for your flaggers, fight for your flag, because that might be their one chance.
Yep.
Whereas our starting squad are looking at it going, well, I really don't have anybody behind me. I mean, I'm not saying they are, but this is kind of probably a subconscious mentality. It's like, again, Pulisic, Weah, and them are all Weston are all looking, going like, who's my opposition? Luca De La Torre, Testament. Okay, well, I'm fine.
Yes, and there's got to be an amount of that. I'm a superstar already. Of course, I'm on the team. Of course, I'm starting. I'm a starter. Look at me. Look at who I play for. And I think the other players we're talking about who play in, they've got guys right on their heels ready to take their fucking jobs on the national team. Look at how much turnover there's been on the English national team in the last 6-7 years. A lot of turnover, a lot of new faces. How many new faces have we really seen? Not many, not a whole lot. It's been the same guys for 5 or 6 years now, for the most part, for the big tournaments. Well, Poach is saying those days are over.
Yeah.
And, if you don't bring what Messi brings or what all the other top players bring, is this desperation to play for their national team and putting the national team above everything else, because guess what? You are playing for Juventus because, yes, you're getting paid for it. This is supposed to be about love and passion, the national team. How passionate are you to play for the national team? That's got to be passion over money in that sense. This is where you're supposed to put all your passion. I'm not saying you're not passionate about Juventus winning. It's your team. It's your club. I get it. But this is your fucking country, not your club.
Yeah. So does this beg the question of whether or not U.S. should be looking at, I mean, I know the other big national teams aren't doing this by any means, but if you have these U.S. stars who are looking at their job with, AC Milan, Juventus, etc., and saying like, well, I'm giving it 100% here, and the national team, I'm gonna try hard, but I'm not gonna go in on each tackle 100% or whatever because I don't want to get injured and etc. Do you think that the argument for player management, in the sense that maybe you don't call Pulisic in every window, maybe we don't bring in Weah or McKinney every window, maybe there's some windows where they just don't get called and they have that 2-week rest?
Yes, that's called the Gold Cup, typically.
Yeah, typically, yeah.
All right, so there's already a window for that where we try out all the MLS guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we have the Camp Cupcake, dude. Don't forget that one.
Yeah. So, you got Camp Cupcake and you got Gold Cup. The rest of the year needs to be the big guys, unless they're injured. Yeah. Now, I'm giving Jedi a pass on this.
He just had surgery, of course.
He just had surgery.
Yeah.
All right. That was scheduled. We mentioned it a month ago or so. He already had that was surgery that's going to happen right after the season was over. That's been scheduled for a long time now. So we knew he wasn't going to be here. We knew it.
Yeah.
Musa, I mean, he's got personal problems, apparently. What are those? They better be fucking serious. And, some guys, I don't want to be too insensitive. If you're having mental issues, fair enough. But I don't know. We're coming up on a World Cup, and I'm just hoping, I hope that they're all looking at this and going, you know what? This is serious this time. I don't think Poach is fucking around. I think next camp, if we do get called back in, which I hope we do, we better be ready to give it all. Like, come and die for it, buddy. You know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we'll see. We'll see.
So overall expectations of upcoming Gold Cup. I know there's a lot of doom and gloom, and people like, oh, why am I even bothering watching this? I'm actually excited still to watch it because I mean, it's you wait 2 or 3 months sometimes before you get the next U.S. men's national team game. So I would have been more excited to see our A squad as a whole, but I'm still excited to watch the matches upcoming.
Well, yeah,
There's still players to evaluate, still things to get excited about.
Although we already know how good Des can be with since his comeback, because he was such a goddamn fucking amazing player in that last game for PSV, last 2 games of the season. So we know he's still got it. So I'm excited to have him back. I want to see who wins out on the partnership to partner with Chris Richards. I am wondering if is Stefan still there, right? Or did he have an injury?
No, Stefan's still included.
Schulte's
Schulte
gone.
that left, yeah.
I want to see a fully healthy Stefan play for this team, and I think we're going to see it. So I'm kind of interested to see what that looks like, because I know what Stefan was prior to him kind of losing all his confidence and breaking down. He was our number 1. And we weren't that worried about that position when he was number 1. Now we're really concerned.
Ironically, the person that took over as number 1 because he was booming with confidence now has no confidence.
Yep.
Is likely to lose it back to Steph.
Right. I like somebody bringing up Freeman. I want to see this kid. By the way, Freeman just scored again for Orlando this weekend. Yes.
Damn.
So I watched that. He's good. He's really good. And who else contributed that matters? Cameron Harper kid's looking better this year, by the way, for New York Red Bulls. I like it. Yeah. Aguiman scored. De La Torre scored. This is all good news coming into it. Yeah. So there you go. Some of the guys actually that made the team also scored this weekend. This is good news. We'll see. I mean, there are other things I want to see. I wonder who's going to start at center forward. For me, I'm curious about that. Will it be Haji Wright? Or will it actually be Aguiman or Ryan White? I know people
I expect it's going to be Aguiman to start off with.
And I know
that's going to be his first go-to.
People were shitting all over Ryan White, but I got to tell you, Vancouver had almost no possession in that ass beating. Yeah. So to blame that on Brian White, I'm sorry. If you watch the game, you know what happened. You know what happened.
We could start Downs.
You could start Downs. I'm really, really hyped about getting a chance to see Downs. Damian Downs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who else? I don't know.
Had some late additions here to an earlier subject. If you want to jump back for a second.
Yeah, fine.
Transfer news, transfer news. Who's getting mounted on transfer news? Who's getting over on transfer news? Transfer news. Everyone loves that transfer news, but me.
Whatever.
Roma wants to reinforce the attack. Ooh, I don't like that already. Reinforce the attack. That means
the bench for 20 minutes, right?
We need a bench guy every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And one of the names they're evaluating is Josh Sargent. I mean, go to Germany, Josh.
This is evaluating. That's like what, 20-30% right there?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure I buy this. So it's fine.
I'm sure Roma are keeping tabs on him.
Oh, yeah. Sure they are.
How serious those tabs are, maybe like 40 deep. I don't know.
Just go to the Bundesliga. You know what? Go back.
Home. Let's go home.
Go to home to Werder Bremen, dude. Just do it. Just do it. Go back. Be a superstar for Werder Bremen. Bring Werder Bremen back to their usual old school heights.
Make Werder Bremen great again is what you're trying to say?
Make Werder Bremen great again, yes. And then somebody's got to go do that for Schalke, honestly, at this point.
Maybe Hoppy can go back to Schalke.
Listen, if Nottingham Forest can be made great again, then Schalke can be made great again, and so could Werder Bremen. But, I mean, these are just teams, Schalke and Werder Bremen, to me, throughout my whole childhood, those are just regular teams that are always there. What happened?
Paul says, why would Sargent want to play with Dybala? Who would want to do that? Hey, you know what? If Roma were serious and they bring in Sargent and he's like their number one go-to guy at the beginning of the season, I'm all for it.
But that's not going to happen.
I just don't see it happen. I see him going there to reinforce the attack, which means I'm assuming that, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I'm looking at that saying like, hey, we're looking for some backups to our starters at this point.
Yes, that's
the way I'm looking. Maybe reinforcing the attack is like you already have 2 or 3 guys there in the attack and we need somebody else in there to solidify it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and then the question that we're all asking right now, where is Matthew Hoppy going to go?
Like I said, Schalke. I said that.
You think he'll go back to Schalke?
Fuck yeah. He's got nowhere else to go at this point.
Well, it didn't work out that well at Sonderjyske. Of course, he's been injured all fucking
season. We're talking about third Bundesliga at this point, right? You can go in there and spark their attack.
No, Schalke's in 2 Bundesliga. They get demoted?
I thought they got demoted and then didn't they get demoted again?
No, I don't think so. I think they're in.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are too.
But
Colin says that Roma don't have a striker. He doesn't think they have a striker at least. So maybe
I would just be surprised for a team as storied as Roma to go get a championship level player to be their starting center forward. I think there'd be a lot of questions in Roma from Roma supporters like, who's this? Who is he? Who's this kid? We've never heard of him. So
Schalke is in 2 Bundesliga. They staved off their second relegation because that was the talking point, was that if they got relegated again, they'd go into administrative mode or whatever it is, where they'd basically get like disbanded or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yep. They'd get broken down to regional or what something. I think is how it works out.
Yeah. Yep. Labrador says Roma have a $50 million striker. Yeah, and that is kind of the price level they usually buy for striker at Roma. And even though Norwich have Sargent priced at $33 million, it's not exactly 50. But somebody will probably pay around 30 million for Sargent. And that's the other problem, right? Which Bundesliga team is going to flip 30 million?
Yeah.
The only teams that are going to flip 30 million typically in Germany are going to be like Dortmund or fucking Bayern. But 30 million, that's more like a Premier League team is going to spend that money, like Leeds. So I don't think the Leeds thing is off, by the way. I think that's still something their fans are certainly talking about it. So at least one Premier League club wants to buy Peyton Miller this summer. Though under FIFA rules, they'll have to loan him back to New England until he turns 18 in November. Miller is expected to be in Europe by January. If he goes to a Premier League team, let's just say it's Chelsea, he'll just go out in the loan army, guys.
Or City. Could be City.
It'll be a loan army thing.
Oh, sure, 100%.
He'll go play in the championship. He's not playing for City or Chelsea or whoever decides to sign him is signing him into a loan army. Unless it's a newly promoted team and they see something in Peyton Miller that makes their asshole sparkle. That's the only way that's happening.
I mean, you'd have to be a team that has some funds, because imagine New England's going to require a hefty price tag for this kid.
If you're in the Premier League, you got funds.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, we talked about the loan armies. Of course, they have funds, but I'm just saying. If your limited exposure to the kid, is a lower mid table really going to pony up the cash for him?
No, he'll be loaned out. But at mid level,
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we know the loan armies have the money to fund all these prospects.
Oh yeah,
but I'm saying would a mid to low mid table EPL side opt to try to pony up the cash to take a chance on a kid.
Absolutely, because it's only it's a deal. That's $6-8 million for Peyton Miller.
Okay.
Whereas if you're looking at Josh Sargent and you're a newly promoted team like Leeds, you know you're going to have to pay through the teeth. It's going to be like $30 million to get Josh Sargent. So that's a big investment. I don't know why more championship teams aren't over here getting great deals, because or lower level Premier League teams getting good deals, because you're going to get an American player for $4 to $3 million. I think German teams have figured that out. They went and got what's his face from NYCFC, James Sands.
Yeah.
And he for St. Pauli immediately became a starter. Holstein Kiel goes out and buys Tolkien for the Bundesliga. Immediately becomes a starter. So I think the German teams are figuring it out. Like, go get some of the veteran American players at a discount price from MLS.
Get them young, get them early.
Get them young, get them at a discount, because I'm sorry, $2.5 million. Yeah, that's a big drop in the bucket for Holstein Kiel. But there are other teams that have more money than Holstein Kiel, who are at the bottom half of the table in Germany, who could certainly afford to go out and buy the best of the best American players if they can get a reasonable price. That's always the challenge, right? Reasonable price. So
Chambers sent me this clip. I know we watched the other one, so I haven't had time to watch it or anything to know what it's about. But I'm sure it has a little more in depth of conversation. Have you watched the whole thing, or you just watched?
No, it's not out until tomorrow.
All right, let's see what this one says then. What they say here.
When the player think that, okay, if in the past we were not involved, it's because the Gold Cup is not important. That is why it's so careful, the coaches, how we send the message and how they get the message, not the player. As I said.
So in the past, the players looked at the Gold Cup as not being important.
Right.
And now basically they're sending that message, well, no, it is important.
Yes.
And if you're not going to show up to it, then fuck you, I guess.
Kind of.
I may be reading a little too much into that right now. Maybe we'll come into say that.
I think it's him saying, if you think it's not important, then you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
We got a World Cup coming.
This is still a U.S. men's national team window. Of course it's fucking important. It doesn't matter if it's a friendly Gold Cup obviously is still a competitive match, but a trophy. But
the clock is fucking ticking.
Yeah.
The World Cup is coming. The World Cup is coming. Yeah, and it feels good too. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
No, you rest because the Gold Cup. We are going to have this list. This is A list. It's not going to be here. It's the B and the C and that's it. It's not a criticize to former people, but it's different way for us to be coaches and to in our ideas and in our philosophy. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that we have more or less knowledge about the game, about the game, about soccer, about football. That is in the way that you want to approach, because I know very well, and we know very well the psychology of the mindset of the player. And sometimes the player, they are.
I had to pause it somewhere, but there was like 20 seconds of nothingness right there.
Yeah, it was. Jesus H.
Hard to make a comment about anything there.
Yeah, nothing on that.
Yeah.
Assume that is normal.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why, for me, is be careful. In my position, is to blame the player. Sometimes the player behave in some way because it's a natural way to behave, because it was like this.
Well, that's the way you're saying. That's the way it's been.
No. That is why for me, I am so happy. I'm so excited of the group that we are going to have, and of course, waiting for the future that all the players will be available to have the possibility to select the best player for the World Cup.
So I guess the concept has been built up over the Gold Cup over the past last decade or so. Let's just say
it's not that important.
Is that it's a B or it's a C squad? It's not an overly important one. And I think that really started happening more and more, especially once Nations League came into fruition here.
Right.
Because at that point, your A squad was brought in for Nations League, and then you start bringing in more. Well, it's just an MLS and then European fringes for Gold Cup. But yeah, the idea at that point is that you want to instill your ideas and say, hey, no, this is important. This is still a world. This is still a competitive window, and you still have to make a name for yourself. So I'm glad that we're gonna have these players who want to be there and want to make a name for themselves.
It's not just the Gold Cup. How about the 2 friendlies before the Gold Cup?
Sure.
To me, that's when you bring the A team. Everybody should be there for that. Other teams are doing it. Switzerland's doing it. Turkey's doing it. And then they're going to release those players to go play the Club World Cup. Why didn't we do it? I don't get it. I don't fucking understand. So far, nobody's brought that up to Poach yet. I certainly would be like, hey, we're about to play 2 teams where the teams are filled with their best players that are also going to go play in the Club World Cup. And they're going to go play these 2 friendlies. And then they're going to go to the Club World Cup. Why aren't we doing something similar? I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
And well, it doesn't make sense unless you read between the lines and assume that these players aren't going to be included in those friendlies because of the way that they've addressed the previous windows.
Exactly. So what he's kind of saying there, well, maybe we didn't do that. If he could answer that question, if somebody asked it, he would say, well, I felt like they didn't bring it last time.
They came in at 70%.
Yeah.
And we need 100.
Yep.
So
is this finished yet? No.
Yeah, it's finished. There's nothing really. I mean, it's going to show the title card at the end of that.
I question the way that's filmed. If all Tim Howard is going to say is,
Yep.
There's no reason.
There were a lot of cuts in that one. Did you notice that? That one had a lot of cuts.
If all he's going to say is, you can just keep the camera on Poach.
Yeah.
We'll hear the hum. We'll hear it. We don't need to see him and then go right back to Poach again. I think it's one of those auto cameras where whoever's talking, it automatically starts shooting.
Yeah.
So that's probably what that was. All right. Is Poach sending a message, PMR? Are you joking? I think we just spent a whole full hour saying, yes, he is. This is a fucking message. And boy, is
Get
he
your fucking life in order. That's what he's saying.
He is hammering the hell out of this right now. Hammering it. This is not even like, well, let me fluff around the edges here. He's like, hey, all these other big players, they come into camp desperate to play for their country. That's not what I'm getting.
Bimar, I appreciate you being honest.
I haven't been watching. You'll need to rewind a little bit.
I think he came in at the second transfer news, actually.
Probably. All right. Well, that's all we got for you tonight. We will be back on Thursday. We'll see what we can talk about on Thursday. I don't think we have anything. We'll have more camp to talk about. Maybe this full interview with Poach will reveal more so we can talk more about it. Maybe he clarifies.
We should have some early pressers too. Player pressers and all that shit.
Yep. So we should have some camp to cover. We're looking forward to that. And thanks for all 140 of you that were here. We do appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Like being able to let all this out, right? Because it's frustrating for you. It's frustrating for us. And I'm glad there's a place where we can all just be frustrated together and work this out as it's going on and try to make sense of it. And then disagree when we disagree. It's fine to disagree, but we still respect all of you. So anyhow, we will be back on Thursday. Until then, kiss your stepsister on the ear, and we'll see you then. Good night.
That hurt.
I want to play in Europe. What the hell does that mean, right? Because Europe could be Latvia, Luxembourg.
No one's talking about Latvia or Luxembourg, dumbass.
So you don't want to just shove it in there. Start with the smaller finger, especially if this is the first time. Start with the smaller finger and go slow.
I mean, there's a lot of things that need to change.
Honey, eating it is the best thing that you can do for your man.
I want people to realize I'm just human. I'm just human, and I make mistakes.
So this guy, Derek, wants to know, is putting your tongue in an ass really the thing to do?
Yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah, just it's a weird one, I think.
And I know you want me to toss your salad too, don't you?